So if you had to guess, I'm sure obviously you've thought about this a lot. It's an assassination attempt. If you had to guess, who do you think is responsible?
These are great questions. What the hell? I don't get these questions from the fake news.
Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell's been asking this.
Donald Trump sat down on the Flagrant podcast hosted by comedian Andrew Schulz, and they pressed Trump multiple times about who he believed was truly behind the assassination attempts on his life. Trump explains how the assassins have multiple phones and exposes the FBI's refusal to hack into those phones despite doing so for those involved in January 6th. And he then finally reveals who he believes is behind the assassination attempts and why. And you need to be aware of why. Check this out.
Who do you think tried to take you out?
So I'm going to give you some big breaking news, right?
Love that.
So you have this shooter and you have another shooter, right? Yeah. So this shooter had 3 or so cell phones. The FBI's never gotten them opened.
Wow.
The other shooter, 3 apps, they call them, and I believe they were foreign-based apps, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
They haven't opened them, and they're foreign-based. And you know, you hear all about Iran, because I was rough with Iran, but I want to see Iran do great. I want to see Iran do great.
Yeah.
But I want to stop all the killing and all this, and I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. In fact, I think it takes great courage for you people to be interviewing me, because it could be now, you know.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know that before we got in here.
No, if you would have known that, you might not have done this.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, this is a good way of me getting the interview to be shorter. All of a sudden, he's going to say, you know, okay, that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Go see my daughter.
Anyway, they have 3 apps, and foreign-based, 2 of them, maybe 3 of them are foreign-based. They haven't opened them yet. Why wouldn't you open them when you hear about Iran or when you hear about, you know, foreign? Then the other one had 6 cell phones, and they haven't opened. Now, you know, it's very hard to open a cell phone. Only Apple can do it in theory, unless you have somebody. But they had no problem getting the J6 people's cell phones open. They opened their cell phones very quickly. You know, we have 2 countries in a way. What's happening here is very bad. It's very dangerous. We almost had one, because I had the greatest economy in the history of our country, and people were coming together. We almost had one, but we really do have 2 right now, and it's a shame, because I think we'll get them together. Success will bring us together, but they should get those phones opened. And, you know, when there's an assassination attempt on a former president who's now, I'm proud to say, leading in all the polls against the Democrat, I don't know which one is running. You know, you don't know what the hell's going on. I'm the only one that had to run against 2. I run against 2 Democrats. But this is a first. We create a lot of firsts. Usually you run against somebody. Here I run. I had the debate. I was way up on him. Yeah. And then they say, oh, let's put this is like with Dana White, a fighter. So you're fighting, and the one guy's getting killed. And they say, oh, that's okay. Let's put in another fighter to finish it off. Okay. And you're fighting to say, hey, wait a minute, I have a brand new fighter in here.
WWE.
I spent $150 million on beating Biden. And then all of a sudden I hear that they're going to overthrow him. It was a coup. I mean, it really was. But I would like them to open up these apps and find out what's in there. And so he had six cell phones. Who has 6 cell phones? Having 6 cell phones is weird. I have cell phones. If I ever have 2, it's like a lot.
Yeah.
He had 6 cell phones. Why does he have them? And why haven't they opened up those cell phones?
So if you had to guess, I'm sure obviously you've thought about this a lot. It's an assassination attempt. If you had to guess, who do you think is responsible?
These are great questions. What the hell? I don't get these questions from the fake news.
Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell's been asking this.
If you look at assassinations or attempts, first of all, you realize I'm in a very dangerous business.
Yeah.
Lincoln and Kennedy and this and that. I mean,
attempts,
you go
Reagan.
through McKinley.
Yep. Garfield.
You look at a lot of people. I'm in a very dangerous
business.
profession.
Yeah.
I call it a profession.
Yes.
I'm a dangerous profession.
I like that.
I'm sitting with you guys. You have a very nice, safe life. Me? Yeah. So, no, if you said 5%.
I think he called us soft.
No,
Yeah,
but think
I'm
of
fine with
it. Yeah, but think of it, 5%.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's high.
That's a lot.
I think even the attempts is something like 25%
Yeah.
of
attempts
presidents have had
is getting into really
It's crazy.
numbers. So people don't think of that. You know, you run and you see, and then you win, and you're down Pennsylvania, you're looking at everything. So you're in a dangerous
stuff.
profession.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pause this briefly to set up the final part of this answer for you. This clip from this part of the podcast is actually going viral as Trump describes what he calls the weave. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. And Schulz and his crew love this. But the point that I want to make and keep you aware of is how mentally sharp and quick Trump is. I mean, this entire podcast is him quipping back and forth off the cuff with these comedians, like making them laugh, crack up. But the media tries to portray Trump in mental decline because of his age. And this is utterly false. Kamala Harris is out there stumbling over rehearsed answers and revealing her inability to recall, think on her feet, and weave as Trump talks about here. He goes off on this little weave, talking about weaving, and then he actually gives the answer to their question. Here we go.
So it's one of those things. I was saying before, though, that, I do a thing called a weave. Yeah. And there are those that are fair that say, this guy is so genius. And then others would say, oh, he rambled. I don't ramble. If I start a story, what you do is you weave things and you do it. You have to have certain things. You need an extraordinary memory because you have to come back to where you started.
Yes.
A weave is only good if you come back.
They don't give you credit for that.
Yeah, it's true.
That you could go all the way over here and then get back.
I can go so far here or there, and I can come back to exactly where I started. Now, someday when you don't come back to where you started,
you're Biden.
Then you say,
yeah, you're really weaving right answering my question twice.
That's brilliant. So I don't even want to know the answer anymore.
I lost interest.
We'll weave back. Let's weave back to his question. Because this is where it started. So we'll weave back to his. I sort of hate answering it because I don't want to give any false identities. I don't want to do anything having to do with creating something that isn't there. Mm-hmm. You would look at Iran. Iran has an open threat out for me, and that's bad. And Biden, if he were a real president, if he were the kind of guy he should be, should say, if anybody shoots a former president who's now the leading candidate, even though he's leading against Democrats, we will bomb that country into oblivion. And it would stop. Mm-hmm. And that's been said before with some people. There have been people, I won't go into it, but there have been people that have been threatened in another party even. In the same party, it makes sense and probably happens pretty quickly. But in another party, it's hard for them to
cross the line.
To want to protect me, but it shouldn't be hard. Other people have protected other people. And what you have to inform those people is if they do it, the country will be blown to smithereens. The entire country will be blown to smithereens. And those threats go away because that's a really bad threat for a country. Forget about me. I'm an individual. But I represent something very important. It's true. That's a really terrible threat. Yeah. So, there are others that could be in that category. Look, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China at a level that no president took in anything. I had tariffs on China, took in hundreds of billions of dollars. They're still there. That without me, they wouldn't have those tariffs on. So you could say, but no, I think Iran would be the one.
The main and critically important question of this election is which of these candidates has the ability and strength to keep America safe. This is the primary role of the president. Not to create jobs, not to give you a hug, not to drink a beer with you. A good president keeps the country safe and the government out of the way so that we, the people, can create businesses and jobs and get hugs and drinks with our family and friends. Trump kept America safe during his first 4 years in office. He has a proven track record in this regard. And here is the final question that I want to leave you with. Why don't our enemies, the people who want to destroy America, the people that hate America, why don't they want Trump as our president? Think about that. Obviously, they are willing to do anything it takes to prevent him from being president again. And why is that?